Welcome to the Chico Creates podcast, where we interview local artists, musicians, and makers from here in Chico, California. I am your host, Kira Barsodi, and with me today is Christian Laney-Clark. He is a multimedia artist and clothing designer who is currently channeling his creativity into Therros, an experimental art-focused Western wear brand. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So glad to have you. So tell me a little bit more about yourself beyond the bio.
So I grew up here in Northern California, in Oroville, and I've been living here in Chico for about 3 years.
Okay.
So yeah, I was actually living in Santa Fe before that, but
Oh, cool. Well, there's the Western influence.
exactly.
The
Yeah, I was
Southwest.
going there. Yeah.
Awesome. Super cool. So did you go there for school, or what were you doing in Santa Fe?
Of a sorts.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just went there to check out the city,
Okay.
and I ended up meeting a teacher there that actually owned a factory in Albuquerque.
Oh, cool.
And the week that I was there, they were having a boot camp.
Uh-huh.
And luckily, I just got in at the very last minute.
Oh, awesome.
And so I received some industrial sewing training there
Oh, cool.
and ended up getting a job making bike gear.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So you were there for just a little bit, sounds like a week.
For the initial boot camp, I was
Okay.
only there for a week. Yeah.
Okay.
But I went back and I lived there for 3 months. So.
Okay. Okay, cool. I love Santa Fe. What time of year were you there?
It was actually wintertime, so it did get a little bit cold.
Yes. The best time, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
No, it snowed a little bit, but
Yeah.
obviously the snow doesn't stick around. But-
Yeah, no, it's like perfect winter there, where it's
Mhm.
just cold enough to snow, but you don't have to deal with it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome. So you said you've lived in Chico for about 3 years now?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I came back right before COVID hit, and
Yeah, I got to settle in a little.
I got to spend, the COVID years here with my family and
Yeah,
my partner Ariel. So
yeah,
that was lucky that I came back in time.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, my husband and I moved back during COVID, which was an adventure in and of itself.
Yeah.
So what's keeping you here?
Well, I really feel like Chico is very balanced in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah,
I was happy to grow up in Oroville too, but
Mhm.
being in Chico, it's just kind of the right balance between being close to the cities, but
Yeah.
also close to the mountains.
Yeah.
But, as a community, it has the perfect balance of sort of liberal and artsy, but also, conservative. And I think Western wear fits in here as well. So,
absolutely.
yeah, it's just very balanced. I love living in Chico.
Yeah, yeah.
And the mountain biking is pretty good too. So.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just went on a hike with my son yesterday, and there's always mountain bikers out, at Upper Park. I'm always on foot, but yeah. Yeah. I love having access to Bidwell Park.
That's one of the
So-
biggest advantages, definitely.
Yeah.
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 And I hope the mountain bikers were being respectful of you
They
too.
were. Yeah. Sometimes they're not so much, but
Yeah, I try to do my best.
yeah. Yeah. It's always nice to, have some communication rather than just like having them run up on you.
hmm
Yeah. What's your favorite local spot or place to hang out in town?
Definitely Upper Park is my favorite
Mhm.
part of Chico. I
Mhm.
love the vista points up on North Rim.
Yeah.
My local spot in town here is probably just the natural food store. Like, I think I'm in the co-op 2 or 3
Uh-huh.
times a week. So yeah, it has just such a great small town vibe and everything you need and nothing that you don't. So.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a great thing about Chico for sure. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your background in art. How did you get started?
I first started creating and crafting products in high school. I didn't think of myself as an artist then. I was just a skateboarder
Mm-hmm.
and taught myself to work with wood and started making skateboards. And I got very involved in that process.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't think of myself as an artist, but I was really captivated by the process of creating the skateboards. And one small mistake and it would just, kind of tear my heart out. And
Uh-huh.
I love that process. So that was where my creativity started. I began working on graphics for the skateboards, and yeah, and that would directly go on to give me the skills to make my first art product, which was a backpack design.
Yeah.
After high school.
Yeah, cool. So did you like craft the deck too, or did you just do the art on the skateboard?
I did the deck, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So there's a store here called Hughes Hardwoods, and they stock like fine woods. So
yeah,
I got some birch plywood, and I learned to make jigs to press the wood and give it concave and camber, which is all the bends you need in a skateboard. So
yeah, that's cool. And tell me more about the backpack design.
Yeah, this is actually kind of a pivotal moment in my life because what year was it? It was probably 2011, maybe 2010. And I heard dubstep for the first time. Not my style of music. I didn't even listen to electronic music, but it's such a high energy music. It electrified my brain. And I felt like I had this idea for a square wooden frame backpack, just kind of appear in my mind. And yeah, it was almost floating in my mind above me.
Yeah,
I had to make
so cool.
this thing. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So from that point, I had to learn to sew to make the bag. And I started off with, it was just a t-shirt that I cut, made a little box, made a bag. And I think I reiterated the wooden frame backpack maybe 5 or 6 times until it became a pretty highly refined product. So
that's cool. And did you just like for personal use have these backpacks or? Yeah,
just for personal use. Yeah. I think at that point I started to think of myself as an artist, and I was connected to Mona. She ran a store called Boho in the Garden Walk Mall.
Okay, yeah.
And she was changing locations, and she allowed me to have like an art show at the opening of that
awesome
new spot. So that inspired me to make a bunch of products, and I started making like necklaces and all kinds of different bags.
Cool.
And that was really my first release as like a collection of art objects.
Yeah, of wearable art. And something that's like been consistent with your art practice has been like the wearable or the practical, like, you know, from skateboards to backpacks to now clothing. Like, I love that.
Definitely, yeah. Finding that balance between aesthetics and functionality is that's what I enjoy the most. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I love going to art galleries and seeing art, but my favorite art to see is going to like anthropological exhibits and seeing how people crafted the items that they use in their everyday life.
Yep.
I think those are the most incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And how much like beauty and care is put into these everyday objects, you know?
And things in the past were made by hand. So you could really spend the time to make every single one of them unique and tie them into a worldview, tie them into a mythology. And
yeah, for sure. And that's something that is so lost today, you know, with Amazon and everything being so, you know, the same.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to make something in a large scale, it has to be catered to a lower common denominator or just a larger common denominator of what people are going to like. And then
and in order to make a lot of it, you know, there's got to, there's a distinction between bespoke and, you know, some kind of mass production.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think there's a balance for all of us that we're going to have, you know, basic teas, but we also want to have some special things to pull out for an occasion. So
yeah, absolutely. And you definitely need to have both.
Yeah,
for sure. So we kind of got into this a little bit. What like led you into your current project, which is Western wear?
So I was very influenced by Terrence McKenna, and he was a psychonaut and a sort of cultural commentator who was big in the 80s.
Okay.
And he would do talks at raves, and he had one particular talk called Opening the Doors of Creativity. And it talks about how we were missing this shamanic role in our society.
Yeah.
In that in the past, the shaman would serve as sort of a religious leader, but also as the scientist and the doctor all rolled in one.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those things have been broken apart. We're much more specialized in our modern society, but that we still need that role to be filled, so that the artist shows like the cultural path forwards.
Yeah.
So that really inspired me. I felt like our culture needed more direction. We needed to incorporate who we were in the past, but find something new and fresh to push ourselves forwards.
Yeah.
So Western wear for us is, it's one of the very few styles that really captures the American spirit, and one of the few fashion designs that have just been created here in America.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was a good canvas to be trying to reinvent ourselves using that aesthetic.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, I really identify just like personally, a lot of my artwork is like celebrating the American Southwest and the desert and the West.
Yeah. No, I've seen that, and I love your pieces, and you have like, the spaceship ones, and there's some mystery there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So do you have any like studio rituals or routines when you sit down to design or sew?
I'd say the biggest ritual I use, it's not an everyday thing, but and I'm sure any artist can relate, but it's just making sure you have a clean, organized space when you're starting a new project, or if you're hitting a wall and you're needing a reset, then just stop trying to push through and organize your space.
Yeah, clear the energy a little. Yeah.
So I love doing that. That feels so good.
Yeah, awesome. And what does your creative practice look like on a day-to-day basis? I know right now you're prepping for a show, so it's really a little different than normal, but
yeah. It's really just like from the beginning, it's chasing down these ideas that inspire me, and that I feel like I have to make them because I've had some sort of idea that's only in my mind right now, and there's nothing better than getting that out and being able to step away from it.
Yeah, for sure. It just like lives in your brain until it has some physical manifestation.
The funny thing is it never comes out exactly how you imagined it either. Does. So it's like you get to meet that, that idea come into reality. But.
Yeah. I like that perspective on it. Because there's so much frustration in not being able to like perfectly bring what's in your head out. But the concept of meeting it, I like that. That's a good like reframe for, kind of the, I guess, collaboration with the universe, if you want to get woo with it.
Yeah. It's similar to the dichotomy between functionality and aesthetics.
Yeah.
Like the aesthetics is it's all in your head, but then the function is how does this thing actually exist?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What's the best part about being an artist in Chico?
The best thing about Chico is that it is a perfectly sized small community to be very supportive.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel competitive. It doesn't feel fake. I just have a very supportive community here.
Yeah.
And I've had this upcoming show at 1078 Gallery.
Yeah.
I think the only reason I have that is because one of my landscaping customers, my day job is doing landscape maintenance, and I happen to start working for a woman, Thomason Sachs. She's an important part of the crew at 1078.
Yep.
Well, I started doing her landscaping work, and about a year later, the opportunity came up, and she encouraged me to apply for a show. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask how you landed that show, and that just speaks to like how close knit this, actually fairly substantially sized town is,
Yeah.
And a lot of it's always who you know, but Chico being on the smaller side, it's easier to rub elbows with people,
Definitely.
Yeah.
And not so small that it feels claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But small enough that you will know most of the people interested in, the similar hobbies you might have. So
yeah, for sure. So say more about your show coming up.
Yes, this is going to be the biggest and most official event I've ever done. It's clothing, handmade clothing that I'm going to be telling the story of the West through Western shirts and coats. And right now I've finished the majority of the shirts. I'm very excited to reveal them.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think it's going to be a really great balance of merging that function and aesthetics and storytelling to give our culture and our society a narrative to help us understand ourselves and look for a brighter future than what I think a lot of people are worried may be our future at the present moment. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the U.S. is having a bit of an identity crisis.
Definitely.
So this is coming at the right time.
Yeah. Trying to be useful with it.
Yeah, I love that. And the pieces, are they all meant to be worn? Like if someone were to buy one, they could wear it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm collaborating with a few other artists. Max Kokonakis and Ty Mendoza are helping me make some hangers for the shirts, so that will just be
cool.
Sort of like an interesting way to present it. But each shirt is wearable, and each shirt kind of represents an epic part of our history.
Yeah.
The first one being before colonial contact, what Native California, might have felt like, and after that, obviously contact, and it's extremely tumultuous and violent time, and
right.
That's something we're reckoning with now as the fantasy of our past kind of melts away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. That's all I have to say about it. It's just awesome. I love the themes and the narrative and the like, marrying the aesthetics and the function. It's all very cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And when is that show going to be up at the 1078?
The reception is December 1st, 6 to 8 p.m. and the show will be up all month.
Awesome.
The following weekend, I'm going to have a screening of Ishi, The Last Yahi, which is a documentary about Ishi, who's one of our most important local residents here. And then I'm going to end off the month with a chili feed and try to raise some money for charity. So
great.
But it'll be up all month.
Great. And which charity?
Friends of Butte Creek Canyon.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Awesome. Which is doing a lot of great work to try to protect the creek there, which is
and the salmon.
The last. It's the last spring run of salmon here. So
yeah.
Hopefully we can recognize that's very important to protect.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Very cool. Awesome is the word of the episode. Love it. So when this show is over, do you have any plans for next projects?
Yeah, I have high hopes.
Yeah.
So I would like to do a show every single year and keep stepping it up. Hopefully the next year I can expand and do a show either in Portland or San Francisco.
Yeah.
And just trying to keep stepping up every year to something bigger. But yeah, I want to build out a brand that is, like I said, it's experimental and art focused in that the heart of the brand is the artistic side.
Right.
But I also want to offer wearable pieces that I can sell to people that can capture that same sort of feeling. So keep having shows, keep making interesting things, hopefully do some actual fashion shows and continually developing my ready to wear kind of shirt line. So yeah.
Very cool. Love that. Is there anything else you want to talk about or share specifically that we haven't already talked about?
No, just want to say thank you so much. As an example of how great our community is, you're here doing these podcasts, and just thank you for highlighting all of the people that you have. And
of course.
Stay in touch with this. And
absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been such a fun project. I'm uncovering things that I, had no idea existed in town. And it just feels like a bottomless pit of creativity, which is a weird way to put it. But
and it's not so small that we know everyone and everything that's going on. I just was looking at your past episodes and saw, I think it was Christian Davila.
Yeah.
Her sculptures are incredible.
Yeah.
And love seeing more stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many different pockets in town, that you you wouldn't know about until you know about it.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
the whole
you're
point of
helping
this.
us find out. So
Exactly. That's the goal. Awesome. Well, I super appreciate you coming in. And again, I love everything about what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
Just look me up on Instagram, Therros Western,
Okay.
THERROS Western. And that's
Awesome.
my brand name. Well, I guess I'll leave the final note. So the theme of my brand is the union of opposites and finding balance between extremes. The word Therros is made up of two Greek words, two Greek gods, Eros and Thanatos. And those are gods of life and the gods of death.
Love it.
And so within all of us, we need to find that ultimate balance between creativity and destruction.
Yeah. Love it. That's great. Yeah. I feel like something that's like been coming up a lot in our conversation so far has been balance, balance between, aesthetic and function, balance between life and death, and like balance in nature, trying to restore some balance with our relationship with nature as humans. And yeah, love
Definitely.
it.
Balance is the most important principle there is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think so many of us these days are feeling like we're on the edge or falling.
We're very out of balance.
Yes, we
which
are.
is not a good feeling, and it's not a good place to be in.
No, it's not. It's really hard to like be able to move forward out of that space. So
yeah. I try to adopt a heroic attitude of, if there's a problem, that's an opportunity to step up and do something to restore balance. So
yeah,
it's an exciting time. It's a terrifying time, but it's also very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I definitely think that you've like hit the nail on the head and have the project that kind of brings all that together in a visual format. And the story comes through and everything. So appreciate what you're doing.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can empower people. I've loved making clothing, and that you can give it and it empowers somebody else because they put it on, and it's like a new superpower for them.
Yep. Yeah. That's very cool to be able to like carry that thing literally, that kind of totem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we could keep talking forever, but I will close this out here. Thank you so much again for coming on, and thank you for listening. And you can find Chico Creates podcast on Instagram at chico.creates, and we will see you around town.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.